Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is the Wednesday, January 4th meeting of the Select Board. With me, I have our clerk, Ellen Rosenfeld, our vice chair, Craig Schultz, our assistant town administrator.
Sorry, I'm like, what? Sorry, it's me.
Karen Bray DeMarzo, and our town administrator, Mike Kaczynski. I am Erin Underhill, the chair. We should have a very interesting agenda this evening. To start, we don't have any announcements, but I would like to take a moment to wish everybody a Happy New Year. May 2023 be a good year for you all. The first thing on our agenda is the ratification of the appointment of a seasonal on-call snow contractor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the board knows, we are always in need of on-call snow removal contractors. We are fortunate to have had someone step forward for this position, and I'm asking the board to ratify my appointment of a seasonal on-call snow removal contractor through April 30th, 2023, and that would be Mr. Joseph Majkut. So I'm asking for your ratification, and again, this would just be until the end of this snow season.
Okay, I'll make a motion to ratify the appointment of Joseph Majkut as seasonal on-call snow removal contractor. Thank you. Specialist. I didn't have a word there at the end.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to ratify the appointment of Joseph Majkut as the snow removal contractor through April 30th, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you
And
very
I'm sorry,
much.
actually, his name is Mike Hoot.
Majkut.
I should have
Oh,
stepped
my.
in sooner, but just.
I was going.
apologize.
I'm sorry,
Start
Joseph.
there and just went downhill.
I think we just kept trying different
Yeah.
pronunciations.
It did, I'm thinking, he knows I know how to pronounce it, so I'll just say it is Mike Hoot, but
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
it was no offense.
Do we need to stick to time, or can we move?
You can move forward, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, none of these
All
are.
right, so the next thing we have is the approval of the installation agreement for the library lighting replacement. Mr. Weiss.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Last year, through the hard work, creative work of our library director, Kim Tolson, who's with us tonight, and through Senator Becca Rausch's office, the town won an earmark of $30,000 to help, to upgrade the lighting system at the public library. And with this earmark of $30,000, let me back up a little. Tonight, we're asking you to approve and authorize the town administrator to sign the installation agreement with Prism Energy for $33,155 that will apply to this repair. And with the earmark and with the utility rebates, the library will end up being responsible for about $1,527. So, as I said, this is a remarkable creative use or way to raise some funds for something that we really need. And the contractor is pretty much ready to go. And so if you have any questions, you can ask our library director, Kim Tolson.
Yeah, I was looking for.
Kim, is there anything that you wanted to add?
I put her on the spot, I'm sorry.
Kim?
Kim, are you on mute? I don't know.
She's not muted. And we cannot hear her.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
I'm ready to move forward with it. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to authorize the town administrator to, this is authorization to sign the contract, is that correct? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
I make a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign the contract for the library improvement contract, and thank Senator Rausch for the earmark, and total out-of-pocket to the town will be $1,500 approximately.
Second.
Oh, that was a lot. It's been moved and seconded.
I can read the motion that's there that I just saw. Madam Chair, I move the Select Board approve the lighting installation agreement and apply the earmark funding towards the payment to the work, and delegate the balance of payment to the discretion of the library director, and authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement on behalf of the town.
Second.
That's much
Okay.
better.
So moved and seconded.
You can thank the senator again, too. I'm sure she does.
Thank you, Senator Roush.
All right, so it's moved and seconded to approve the lighting installation agreement and the funding balances. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Jim Duffy, 343 Exchange. Could you just explain why this is necessary? There's no details in the fairly new library, why we're replacing the lighting. I understand there's minimal out-of-pocket expense, but it'd be nice to understand what's going on.
I can
Okay.
do that, yeah. The library was built in 2014. It's a LEED building. It had state-of-the-art building automated systems for heating, cooling, and also for lighting. The lighting system has given us problems ever since. Automatic lighting systems always do, no matter how high-tech or low-tech they are. Often, or occasionally, someone would be driving down the street at about 1 o'clock in the morning and say, why are all the library lights on? And so.
That was you?
Yeah.
Jim McKay?
So the software started, I guess, to degrade, and we did a considerable amount of research and found out that it was more or less an obsolete system. Kim, you might want to, if you can, help me in this one, but I think we found that was an obsolete system. We've been looking for a way to upgrade it. There's no replacement for it is the problem, so it's even run out of its warranty. So we've been looking over the years for different ways to approach this, and we found that this is really the easiest way and the lowest cost way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the permanent building committee when it was built. It started in 2010, when the bids went out with the quotes. In 2014, it opened the doors. And this is the only building that we've done. The last building we did with the low bid contractor, everything else has been construction manager at risk. And so we took the lowest bid, because we had to, contract option for it. It was obsolete. 2014, it was obsolete when it was installed, but that's what was spec'd on the bid sheet. So that's why one of the many reasons we moved away from that type of low bid contractor and moved into a more advantageous system. Yeah, but it's been a problem since the day it was installed. Yeah,
But yeah, from what I understood, the software is no longer supported. So there's.
Right.
not since
no way to-
2015 or 16, because we knew that from the,
Yep, that
Yeah.
happens.
yeah,
Okay.
but it was the low-cost option.
So the next thing we have, Mr. Weiss, don't go far, is we have the Complete Streets presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And with me this evening is our DPW Director, Mr. McKay.
Your committee member?
And we also have a member of our Economic Development Committee, President Maureen Barnes. Last year, the town received $38,000 as a Complete Street grant to help us develop a prioritization plan for pedestrians and bicycles and automobile movement. This is Tier 2 of a 3-tier movement, if you may remember from last year when you voted in the policy. So it includes planning for sidewalks and crosswalks and intersections and design elements that would go into improving mobility all over town. So tonight, we're asking the Select Board to approve the prioritization plan that is in your packet. So the plan is really a follow-up to the Complete Streets policy, again, that was signed by the board in March of last year. It has been thoroughly vetted by the Economic Development Committee, by a committee that was a specialized committee that we put together with our DPW director, members of the committee, Millis's police chief, and basically we came up with about, and we also put it out on the internet as well, so people could chime in from the general public. We came up with about 25 different projects. 20 of them are in the plan, and all the projects, as I said, will improve mobility around the town, make it safer for the different modes of transport to work together. There's nothing unusual or unconventional in the plan. For the most part, it's going to prioritize projects that will complete the existing sidewalk network. And with us tonight also is Jeff Maxtusis, who is, has been our consultant from Beta Group, and he has worked with us, he's worked with the Economic Development Committee and the Specialized Committee to come up with this plan. We will submit the plan to the Mass Department of Transportation, and they will review it, and hopefully they will help us out with about as much as $500,000. And we think with that, we can do at least the first 5, 6, 7 projects that are on the plan, and those that the money will not help, Mr. McKay can explain how we might be able to stretch and do even more of the projects on that prioritization plan.
So, first, Bob did a great synopsis of the project and how we work together. I think that the biggest thing is this is a safety. Most of these issues, you know, I mean, the police chief's been here for many, many, many years. He's been a patrolman, so he knows, you know, where the accidents are and everything else. I think if you looked at the packet, it'll show you a lot of different designs of intersections. Many of the things have been always on the DPW's and the town administration's priority list. Exchange Street, Union Street, Plain Street at Village. You know, the biggest thing that we looked at, and you'll see as our number one priority, is, believe it or not, is putting the handicap detection pads at the, on every ramp. That was never done because it didn't have to be done. So we did put that as our number one priority. It's an ADA issue that has been brought to the town, and people have brought that to us. Jeff did a great job in his workers with the designs. Very impressed with our final product. I think it's, I would hope that you all get a chance to look at it. And once it's approved, we'll put it online so the public can start looking at it tomorrow. I don't think it's on there yet, is it?
Not on yet.
It's not on yet, because you have to prove it for us to, and I would look at, and I think when Millis residents will see that these intersections that we're talking about, you know, Ridge Street up near Middlesex Street, that intersection there, it's just horrific. The rotary it's not a rotary, but the big island at, Orchard Street, Exchange Street, where it all combines there. You know, we have, you know, ideas there. And what's great about it, we're working in conjunction with the police department, because they're ultimately the ones that are going to tell us, you know, where all the stuff is. And we took their direction. You know, we do have a project, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with, you know, the installation of cameras all over the town. And that is part of this project. Not part of this project, but he brought it to our attention where they're going to put them. I will present, I think, from this project later, you know, at your meeting for approval of design for sidewalks on Plain Street, Pleasant Street, and maybe look at that intersection of Plain and Pleasant. And we can talk about that, you know, later in the discussion. But I don't know if Jeff wants to say anything.
Let's see if we can
No,
hear him.
I
Okay,
can't hear him.
He's off mute. I don't think it's on the computer.
No,
It's
not.
not him, because I know Kim was trying to say something.
We
So-
can't turn up the TV, can we?
I
That won't
think we
work.
have to turn up the volume on the laptop and then get the microphone to it.
Can you go grab them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the laptop muted?
turn up
Yeah,
the
turn up that volume.
Hang on.
Okay, here we go.
As if I know what I'm doing.
I know.
Yeah, just try unmuting it, turning up the volume first and see if that
No,
does
it's not.
anything.
Okay. How about this one?
Do I have to get up and go pretend I'm an IT director?
Only if you're going to succeed. Don't embarrass us.
That's my fear.
I know,
I
it's
had
my fear
people,
too.
I had people for this.
Yeah.
So do I.
Nope. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Oh, good. Great. Yeah, good evening, members of the board, members of the public. Happy New Year. It's been a good process that I think we've had discussing, potential projects. And this is, like Bob mentioned, this is tier 2, the prioritization plan. So each of those projects, we do have a concept sketch for those. Those aren't part of the plan, but will be part of the report that we submit to the town, and also a preliminary cost estimate. So once the town approves this, adopts the plan, then it can be sent to MassDOT for approval. Once they approve the prioritization plan, that allows the town to apply for the infrastructure funding, as Bob mentioned, up to $500,000 for any one or a series of projects up to $500,000, and that's good for 5 years. So if you want to go after $500,000 in 1 year, that's fine. If you want to spread it out for some projects over a few years, that's fine too. But the limit is $500,000, and it'll reset after 5 years for another $500,000. So this plan kind of locks in the first 5 year segment of the plan.
Can I just ask quickly, what was tier 1?
Tier 1 is devising and passing the policy. So that was the last board, so
Got it.
you missed out on that one.
Yep.
And tier 3, of course, is the $500,000 that we hope to get for the construction.
I mean, I don't know of a need to go through isn't there 30-something things here, but I mean, we're talking about sidewalks, adding sidewalks in on, on Ridge Street, near the cemetery from the police station up to the new homing development that's being built there. I mean, there's a laundry list of stuff, and I think it was very well thought out and put together.
Looks
Yeah,
great.
I saw the design but it had every option in there. There were 6 different versions of rotaries. And
Yeah.
bean-shaped rotaries and everything else, but.
Jeff talked us out of Rotary, so.
Yeah. I'll say thank you,
Good.
Jeff.
Good, me too.
They were odd-shaped rotaries to start with,
Yeah.
but it was an interesting plan. It was a good plan. I'm excited to see that we're moving forward with it.
Good. I also like to mention, if I may, that in addition to Ms. Barnes from the Economic Development Committee, we also have Matt Arlano, who is one of our newest, or is our newest member. Not to put any more pressure on you. But
So are we looking for a vote to authorize the?
Yes, I believe Mr. Weiss put a,
just to
Yeah, I'm
approve
looking for the
the,
Is it written down the bottom for you?
I'm trying to find the page, okay? Give me a second.
I see.
Yes, you just need to approve the Millis Complete Streets prioritization plan as presented.
I move that we approve the Millis Complete Street Prioritization Plan as presented.
Well done.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Millis Complete Streets Prioritization Plan as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, and thank
Great.
you for all your hard work on the project.
and
It
thank
was great.
all of
It's
you
a good
very
plan.
much.
Yeah.
So we will post this we can post this online tomorrow. We can put it on the homepage, a link from the
Yeah.
homepage. We can put it on Facebook to kind of let
Great.
people know if they want to come look at the entire list. So we'll have that all on there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Right now, it's just part of the agenda packet, if someone's looking at the moment. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Scott Fusey, 411 Union. I want to thank Bob.
Thank you.
Warren,
Good night.
everybody involved.
Hold on.
Thank you for the previous one, and Matt, thank you for being here and supporting it as well.
Okay. Scott?
Thank you. I just want to thank Bob,
Thank you.
the committee, and Lauren. As a pedestrian in town, it's nice to see sidewalks added. There's a lot of streets that don't have them. It's nice to improve the ones we have. So it is a public safety thing, and it is good that over time we will be addressing these needs. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, excellent. Looks like next we have Mr. McKay for the approval of engineering services for Pleasant Plain and Spring sidewalk design.
So using this, what was just approved.
Yep.
That's using that template. And with discussion with the committee, we came up with these, this area of, and all this is a design. That doesn't mean we're going to do it. We don't know how much it's going to cost. And we would use the funding that's left over from the Chapter 90 and available funds from the previous 2 town meetings, which was about $650,000. It was always the town's desire to connect Village Street to Main Street on Pleasant Street, and the sidewalks, the school route, it's a that's the major walking route. Spring Street is an area of, that's going to connect Village Street and all that area right there. So what we're asking for is the design funding for that, and that won't come out of this project. This will come out of the town funds that are there. And the first one is, I think I broke it down into 2 different ones. Pleasant Street for $39,390, and the engineering for Plain and Spring Street for $32,740. We'll get input from the part of this as part of Mike's contract, GCG. They're going to have to come out with drawings. So we'll have a public meeting that people will be able to come out and look at. Because people, a little funny about some people, we all want sidewalks, but a lot of people have been entrenched in areas that say, maybe I don't want nothing. But so we still have to, talk this through with the residents on all 3 streets.
Okay. So, do we have any questions?
I don't have any.
No.
What is the motion to it?
Approve
I
the
think it's-
contract, the town
I would
administrator.
ask that you, okay.
But both of them, right?
I make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to sign the 2 contracts for sidewalk design with GCG Associates.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to authorize the town administrator to sign the contracts for roadway and sidewalk design for engineering services for Pleasant Street not to exceed $39,390, and for Plain and Spring Street not to exceed $32,740.
Second? I mean, aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, okay. So aye.
Waiting for that.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And, yes, so.
The next one is the asset
You.
management grant, and is that next?
Yes.
Okay. This is Asset Management Grant Program Phase 3. All these, the previous 2 were also funding and grants that we received, pretty much in the same amount of $150,000. This is through the Clean Water Trust. We finally got all the paperwork back over the holidays, and this was the closest meeting that we could get for the approval. This is kind of a funky one that the treasurer and the finance director had to do a lot of thinking how we're going to, we had to go to town meeting. It was approved back, I believe, in last November, and then we had, or May, and then we had to go, because we didn't think, where it was a grant, we didn't think we had to borrow the money. But this is still, we're taking a borrowing, and then as we do the work, it's in, in the packet of, in the schedule of how much will be deducted, and they'll reimburse us those amounts. So the finance director is, well, she'll have to sign off on this, everything, but she's okay with this. And there's a lot of paperwork with that, with this. And this is just like the lead and copper one that you approved, I believe, at one of your previous meetings. So we would ask that you approve a contract with Kleinfelder Northeast in the amount of $150,000. And the funding for that came from a matching amount, town matching amount of $86,500, and an in-kind service amount of $13,500. So I said that incorrectly. I would ask that the vote be not to exceed $260,000.
Okay, great.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to sign the contract with Kleinfelder not to exceed $260,000, with $150,000 coming from state funding, the town match of $86,500, and the in-kind services of $13,500.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town administrator to approve and sign the following contract. The contract with Kleinfelder not to exceed $260,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And we still have you for your...
For a few announcements. So first I'd like to get into, first I'd like to thank the DPW workers. While we're all at home, most of us were at home over the Christmas holiday weekend. And the DPW workers were out all day Thursday night, Friday. We actually had a water main break on Christmas night. That started at 9 o'clock. So I want to thank them, Dave and his crew, for they all came in and took care of what needed to be done. A brief update first on water. Let's do sewer. So we have there's a sewer testing going on right now. Anybody that has they were notified by mail. Every resident was notified by mail that is part of this project. We did notify the residents by phone. It's on it's on the town website. And if there's any need of any communication, we would ask that they please call the company doing the testing. What they're looking for is illicit discharge, meaning that if somebody has a sump pump in their basement, they're taking that hose and they're putting it into some sort of a sink or something that's getting into the sewer system. So they may go into each basement, and they need to go into each basement and show that if there's a hose hardwired out into the outside anywhere, I don't care where it goes, but as long as it goes outside. But it is illegal to discharge a sump pump into the sewer system because, number one, we're paying for it, for that to be treated, and we're not billing for it. So that's going to be going on. It says 3 to 4 months. It may go on a little bit longer because there's like maybe 1,500 homes need to be checked out. And again, there's everybody's been Corey checked. If someone wants the tester, which I believe they're all wearing masks, if somebody, just tell them, I want you to wear a mask if they come in. And if they have any questions, they can call either the DPW, GCG, or the company on the list.
It's flow assessment services.
Flow assessment services, yeah.
Just a question about that, because they came by today. I got the letter, I knew what
Yep.
it was. My wife's at work, I'm at work, my 21-year-old son's at home. He said, sure, look at whatever you want, because he'll, anyway, have a badge, have an ID card, have a mask, welcome to my home.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they wouldn't come in because he wasn't the homeowner.
Right.
It's going to be really hard for one of us to be, and they said, call us, we'll reschedule time between 8 and dusk on the day of your choosing. Unless we can pick a time, you're not going to get us at home.
Yeah, and that's up to them
Yeah.
to make that.
Okay.
That's what we're paying them.
Yeah,
a
so
lot
we'll
of
give them
money
a
to
call
do.
and see when they
Yep,
can come back,
yep.
but if they're telling me I have to be available between 8 AM and dusk,
But
that's not happening.
If somebody, once they know that you're allowing them
Yeah.
to come in
they could
with
authorize.
as long as you're
Well,
authorized.
he's back at school
Right, right.
Monday,
Okay.
so
Yeah, yeah.
you
Just
lost
as
your
a-
window.
Just as an aside, Jim, just a minute ago, you
Yep.
said, you can't discharge into the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're discharging outside, that's okay. But that technically isn't okay either, because now I'm going to see all these hoses outside basement windows running down the street or onto neighbors' yards. So that's not legal either.
Well, you can discharge it as long as it stays on your property. You cannot discharge it out into a public way that will, promote any type of hazard, roads freezing out. So you're correct that you just can't take it and throw it out in the middle of the street, or like empty your pool into the closest catch basin. Then we can go out and we can enforce that
Okay,
away from it, correct.
thanks.
So the next announcement we have is on water. I know that there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of talk on Facebook, not that I read it, because I don't read it anymore, but I'm being told about rusty water. We understand the situation, and we're working on it. I think what everyone has to realize is that this PFAS situation has crippled Millis. We have 6 producing wells, and in the last month, we received a well number 6 has over 20 parts per trillion. And what that means is we have 3 months to retest. It was a test to put the well back online, so it wasn't a public notification needed yet. But we've already taken a resample. If that does come back 20 parts per trillion over, then we'll have to do a public notification. And then we'll have one more month, and then you take the average of the 3 months. And if it's still 20 parts per trillion over for all 3 of them, we have to take it offline and deal with the situation like we are with wells 1 and 2. Well number 3 was taken offline in November for maintenance. There was nothing we could do about it. There was a pipe, I think, explained to you that it was the pipe is a 12-inch pipe, and it was shrunk down to minimal. There was no water getting through it. That has been repaired, but part of the testing for the well 3 PFAS, they need to take the well offline and run water to actually get a good projection of PFAS, what's coming through there. We're trying to get that moved up from February to January. So let me go back. The area in question, Bow Street, around that area, there's parts of Spring Street. I mean, that's probably one of the oldest parts of town. I mean, Ellen probably knows that better than me. I mean, it is one of the oldest parts of the homes there and everything else, and the water mains are probably the oldest in the town. We had this issue when we took well 3 off maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But at that time, we still had wells 1 and 2 on. Wells 1 and 2 are off, well 3 is off. So we're actually just running the town right now on well 4, which is Southern Pond, which is at the Sherburne Town line, and well 6 right now, and that's almost in Norfolk. So you've got big span of long ways to go. And where Millis is once the demand from the 2 tanks asks for water, everything usually goes on. So now when the 2 tanks ask for water, you're needing water from here and here to suffice a tank over on Farm Street and one up on Walnut Street. So we are aware of it, and I did have a discussion with a couple of people today, and if it's that we have to go out every day or every other day to flush the hydrants, that's what we'll do, to give some relief to it. So, and lastly, the good news, I think I notified you all over finally right before the Christmas vacation. We started this process 2 years ago. We asked for a grant from the federal government for our PFAS plant at wells 1 and 2. We originally asked for $6.1 million to pay for the whole project. And that was reduced when so the first year we were denied the funding, and then we were asked from Congressman Auchincloss to resubmit a grant application. I did that in April, and it took a while for this to get through the process, and they did reduce it to 3.4 something, almost $3.5 million, and it was because of the town and the previous select board chose to use all the ARPA funding that came to the town of, I think it was $2.4 million. It went directly towards the PFAS plant. So that was already in place, so they really he couldn't submit something that we already had federal funding for because it was already earmarked for that, and we couldn't have used it for anything else. So that's why it was reduced down. So the good news is we did receive it on the 23rd, and I want to thank our partners at Kleinfeld. They do a lot of work on these grants for us, and they've submitted. I want to thank previous select board members for sending letters of support. This board here, we've always been supported through this process. And I think the biggest thing that Mike, Carol, and myself promised you and the public, that if there was any grants out there, we would try to apply for something to get these grants to offset these costs. And we've been pretty lucky on this one, wells 1 and 2. We were like the first ones. I think I've told you that 100 times. You probably didn't hear me say it again, but our first grant we received was $200,000 for the design of it, the start of the design of wells 1 and 2. The next grant that we did, we submitted it for a no interest or a low interest loan through the state water trust fund, and we received that also. And then this grant here. So once we get the paperwork back and we sit down, we talk with Carol and Jen, I don't know, is it not going to cost us anything? I don't know that yet, but I know it's going to cost us a lot less than what it was going to cost us on the 20th of December. I'm looking at maybe I think we borrowed, appropriation 6.3, so it's going to be close with the 2.4 and the 3.5. It's going to be, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. We do, as been presented, there is one more well that, it's going to be designed, and where we got these fundings for this, are we going to get it for next one? But we'll try. We'll definitely try.
Madam Chair, if I may. So just following up on that, I would basically, without repeating everything Mr. McKay said, I do want to thank all those, former board members, current board members, Congressman Auchincloss, Kleinfelder, and everyone else that supported this grant request through the federal government, and just a special thanks to Mr. McKay. He stayed on top of this. He made sure we get all our paperwork in, made sure that the Congressman's office didn't forget about us. So definitely a gold star for Jim on all his work on this. It's quite an accomplishment and has saved the ratepayers a great deal of money over the next 20 to 30 years.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I believe we'll have, I'm sure we'll have the congressman out with a big check.
Yeah.
Ellen's used to those, Ellen liked those big checks.
I love
I'm
those
sure he'll
checks.
be out.
So,
I'm sure.
he'll be
Yes.
out. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
I'm done, right?
Yes, I think
Yes.
so.
That's it. Oh, no, we have sewer.
Yes.
No, you're not done.
Thank you, Scott Fusey, 411 Union Street. I just want to thank Jim, too. Jim's another one like our two chiefs that always is going out with working to get grants, and this is huge. This has been a big thing for the town, so thank you, Jim. Like our two chiefs, he's phenomenal with getting grants at no cost to the town, so that should never go unnoticed, so thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so the next thing we have is to discuss the proposed sewer policy and related committee.
So I only had, Jim, look at me. I only had one comment on the addendum. I wanted to put in a line item
Yep.
for the actual flow.
So,
That's all. But you don't want me to?
no, I think that, so, let me, if I can find out where the hell I am here. So how did I get to these numbers? I took all these numbers from the report.
I know
which
how you
makes
got to
sense.
the numbers.
Yep.
I just wanted to put in the same thing, one line item, I wanted to put in actual, since we define it in the thing, but whatever.
Well, the only thing
Oh, so you're just asking, may I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Mr. Madam Chairman. Instead of this, in addition to the 6-year average flow, you'd like to note that the actual flow for 2022 or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
I think we can note that. I don't think it changes the computation,
Fine.
but I think if it's noted, it wouldn't
can,
be
I
a
mean,
bad, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
I think it makes sense to note it because, and that number's updated every year, as is the
is
6-year
this
average, as is everything else,
As
right?
is this.
Yeah, yeah. Because that 6-year average of 393, I'd like to see if we're actually running significantly higher than that right now.
I think
Yeah.
for this report, we can, we can update that.
It doesn't even
because
have to
we
be a
do-
box in this grid. It
Yeah.
can be just a line below it, because I'd like to keep all of our math
Yep.
the way they're doing their math, so we don't
Yes.
have any surprises. And if they're using the 6-year flow, plus the available flow, plus the betterments, plus all that stuff, figured 110, perfect what you got, run straight across.
Yes.
Then just below it, say that the last year's flow is 422, or whatever it was,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Just so we can see if we're running. Because to me, I'd like to know if our current today flow is significantly higher or lower than our 6-year average. Of course, it's going to be probably higher, but
So
at
it's
some
good,
point
is
it may
we
be.
actually are adding in 2022 right now,
Yeah.
so we have that, so we can,
Yeah.
which I have
So
to send to them.
it's just another line on
Yep.
there. I think it wouldn't hurt to add it.
Yep.
That's it.
So how did I get to it? We started with 628,000.
Yep.
Put it in this spreadsheet.
We took it up, we took out the 5%, which I believe the board requested last meeting.
Yep.
So the 3-year average flow was 393,000. The average, so that leaves us with an average daily flow of 203, whatever. The betterment, so these, where did I get, I got this 56,000 from table 1, that adds 1 and 2 together. That's the people that have paid betterment charges.
Yep.
On top, the next is the permitted flows, and that came from the whole list of everything that's on our project list. And the last one is is Cottage Ave. That's the 21,000, whatever flow, 22,000 gallons there.
Yep. The one
That
that's
hasn't
not.
been approved.
It hasn't.
It's been presented to the board.
Yep,
But we've not actually gotten any filing of paperwork for that yet.
right. He's got some legal something he's
Correct.
working out.
So just a question on that, just to be clear, I understand the ones that are permitted, I understand the betterment. This is a guy who's been before the board, would like to do it, but hasn't finished, it's Truska, but he hasn't finished the whole process.
Correct.
Right.
But we're treating it as if you're next up, basically.
because-
Yeah.
It's a benefit to the town.
Oh, yeah,
what
but
doing.
he's next up is basically
Yes.
how we're treating
Yep.
it. Okay.
So that leaves you a remaining balance. So what was taken out of it were from table number 4, was, the 226 people that have frontage for sewer and that actually have sewer stubs on their properties. So that number is 226. And that's 81,090 gallons,
Yep.
81,100 gallons.
Yep,
And that's how you have a reserve today of 28,883,
5%.
and plus that, we took the 5% of that out.
Well, no, and that's about 5% of our total.
Yep,
Just,
yep.
yep, good, that's good.
Yeah. And then as these other projects come on and the 6-year average flow is refigured and all that other things, theoretically, we could squeeze a few more houses as we go. But right
Right.
now, we're at 95% of our sewer capacity today.
Right, so
Yeah.
what I would
At
recommend,
max.
that this would be whatever you do with it, is this chart needs to be updated on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
I
I was
mean,
going to say annual.
that we would have the engineering firm come in and look at it and
Yeah.
deduct the flows, because by the time this is going to be updated again, Toll Brothers could be 98% done,
Yep,
Yeah.
or pretty close to it.
Right.
you know,
Yep.
I mean,
How does that, I mean, they're going to be done, but there won't be any actual flow for some of them.
So we do
a
have.
partial year. Yeah.
Yeah, they're selling,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to go, we have meters there we
Yeah.
don't have on Hickory Hills, but we do have meters there that we know what's coming out of there.
Yeah, because my only fear would be, all of a sudden, you open the place mid-year, you finish the house,
Yep.
put it into the 6-year average, and
It could skew it.
They're
Yep.
probably pretty
Yeah,
sophisticated math folks on it.
They know how,
Yeah,
GCG
yeah.
knows what to,
Yeah, I don't want to
handle
get
it.
surprised.
yep.
okay.
Okay.
right.
All right, and then the next part of that agenda item is to discuss the related committee. We, in a previous flavor of discussion on this topic, I think Craig came up with some thoughts on the committee. So I copied and pasted what I had, so I'll read it to you.
Okay. It's dangerous.
A three-person, which we can talk about how many people, but the initial proposal was a three-person independent committee appointed by the select board to advise on water, sewer, stormwater matters. The committee members will be appointed on a rolling 3-year term. First year, 3 members will be appointed, serving a 1, 2, and 3-year term. Each year after that, members are appointed for 3-year terms. The chair will rotate yearly. The committee will meet at a minimum on a monthly basis and should include at least 1 member who is not currently on the sewer system. The committee may be tasked with the following: water, sewer, stormwater appeals hearings, recommend rates, recommend projects, recommend sewer connections per the sewer and water connection guidelines set forth in the sewer policy, comment on and advise on proposed regulatory changes. I think Mr. Kaczynski had some good suggestions also in terms of taking a closer look at this and maybe coming up with the official charge at our
Yeah.
next meeting.
Yes, I mean, we can certainly, if you'd like, I could sit down with you or whatever and come up with some draft language that the board could then discuss and hopefully agree upon at your next meeting. And we could use, other resources within the town, Mr. McKay and other folks, to try to pull
Yeah.
something together that really is effective and meets the needs of what the board's looking for.
Yeah, first off, I came up with the 3 members because that's what was either in the bylaw or the charter. It was someplace that was mentioned that we could appoint
Yes,
such a board.
yes.
So that already existed as a tool in one of our documents, I can't remember, it was quite a while ago, and You have my notes, I don't.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But,
I'm
so
shocked.
does that mean that you can't do more?
No, we could do 5.
The charter and the bylaw mentioned something, or the bylaw
charter?
mentioned, the town charter. I
So
can-
there was
I
like
do have
a-
it, I can try to find it.
Do you know that, Mike?
I do, now that you said,
Remember
I do
seeing it.
recall
But what does
something
that
in there.
mean? Any-
The board may.
May appoint.
May appoint a 3-member board, which would basically do what was outlined
Yeah.
in the notes that
All right,
was read.
so in that case, I suppose 3 would make sense. if
I mean,
But
if
we
it's spelled
could,
out,
we could look at that in the interim
that
and
wasn't-
come back
that
and
wasn't
discuss
a
that with the board.
like this. That was a
So the
committee
board
to
can
advise. This
determine
is a little bit more.
at your next meeting whether you want to stay with 3 or look at a different
Yeah,
number.
and we, yeah, we can look at the, whatever document it was, I will go back and find it. And then we can see what it says and why it's listed. But I do remember 3 was the number that was spelled out in that one.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's restricted to only 3, we'll have to look at that again
Yeah.
to see.
Okay.
So the goal will be by the next meeting to come back with like a charter, is that a mission?
charge?
A charge.
Yeah.
Mission.
Charge, so to speak, for this committee. And then we can discuss voting on that and put feelers out there for people to apply to be members of the committee.
Yeah, and I'd like to invite other interested committees to attend that meeting our next meeting where we do discuss this. If anybody from the planning board or other committee would like to voice their opinion, I think it'd be a good chance to get feedback.
Yeah.
Because this does cross over a few areas, and that would lead to, questions about the makeup and how the committee is
Planning
designed.
board would be good.
That's what,
Board of
yeah.
Health?
Planning board and Board of Health would be the 2 that I'd bring in.
I would think, yeah.
Definitely. And
But
then we
with
can.
this independent committee, I don't know that I would think that we should be having anybody from, Finance Committee, Planning Board, Select Board on the committee. It should be an independent,
I would think
body.
that committees that do get a say in it and a vote on it, and we're the sewer commissioners, so clearly we do. Planning board's intimately involved in it also, and finance committee recommends on everything, so I think that's something worth considering. But I'd like to have the planning board, Board of
Weigh in
Health,
on the-
and weigh in on the charge that we're
On the
giving.
charge.
charge.
Not,
right?
yeah, on the charge.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were.
No, I wasn't saying they
makeup.
should be appointees. I was saying that they should
Right.
comment on the
'Cause we
charge.
don't really, what we don't want to do is appoint a committee that's going to step all over other
Right.
people's toes. right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
Exactly.
independent Is the key
Executive
word there.
branch.
But Madam Chair, you're saying you would want a completely independent, like people who are brand new, didn't come in with fresh eyes type of thing?
It could be
Or-
people that are experienced, I think.
Right.
but
Yeah, but people that aren't currently serving on those other
Right.
boards.
Who are going to have a say on it
We're going to have
anyway.
a separate say, right,
Yeah.
okay. That's
Right.
interesting.
Because otherwise, we get the same
Yeah,
people making the
once you
same
have the charge, we
comments.
could certainly advertise it out there and see who's,
Yeah. Okay.
Updated
All right,
how
so
this
Sounds
works,
good.
and I
More to
don't
come
like
at the
it.
next meeting then.
Yeah.
all right,
Yep.
so I'll add to the
Yep.
next agenda anyway.
Okay. All right. The next thing we have.
Bye, Jim.
Bye.
See ya.
The next thing we have is ratification of the AFSCME Council 93 Union MOA.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the board's packet is the fully executed memorandum of agreement with AFSCME Council 93, Local 3901, which you approved at your last executive session. This is the formal notification and ratification vote of the board for the public. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the Select Board, the members of AFSCME's negotiating team, all the members of that collective bargaining unit for working together to negotiate what we feel is a very fair agreement between the two parties. And I'd like to especially thank Selectman Craig Schultz, Director McKay, and the Assistant Town Administrator Karen Bure-DeMarzo for all their hard work in bringing this to a fruitful conclusion. Obviously, with any negotiation, we had ups and downs in the process, and it did take a while. But I think in the end, we have an excellent contract that makes sense and is advantageous to both the town and very fair to the members of the bargaining unit. So just ask the board to take a formal vote in open session to ratify the MOA.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the MOA with the AFSCME.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to ratify the MOA with AFSCME Council 93. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you very much.
Thanks. Do we have any board or committee liaison updates?
I don't.
I don't believe I
I don't
have any
either.
either.
You know what, I think I was going to take this off, and I forgot to take it off.
I think so,
because I highly doubt that you had any during the holidays.
Right.
So,
Okay, so the
That's
next
my
we have 2 draft minutes from June 6th and September 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 6th and
September 12th.
September 12th. Seemed a long way back.
It is. Catching up.
Minutes.
Second?
Yeah.
It's been moved and
Catching up.
seconded to approve the draft minutes from June 6th, 2022, and September 12th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, so that brings us to executive session. So at this point, I move that we will adjourn to executive session to discuss and conduct strategy sessions with respect to collective bargaining with union personnel, SEIU, Millis Firefighters Union. To discuss strategy with respect to litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's litigating position, 12 to 14 Exchange Street. I will poll the board to go into executive session. Ms. Rosenfeld,
Aye.
Mr. Schultz,
Aye.
and I'm an aye, so we are now adjourned to executive session.
If that needed a seconding, assume I seconded it.
Okay. Thanks, Craig.
Since
And
I
thank you,
voted
Millis
yes on
Community
it.